Hi, my friends. Today I want to share a new story with you. I hope you enjoy it. The restaurant was glowing with soft candlelight. People were laughing, talking, and clinking their glasses. It was my parents' 30th wedding anniversary. We had invited over 100 people, relatives, old friends, even people who barely knew them. I had spent the last 3 months planning everything, the food, the flowers, every little detail. I wanted it to be perfect. As I stood near the bar, holding a glass of champagne I hadn't even tasted, my dad tapped his glass with a fork to get everyone's attention. The room got quiet, and he smiled. Tonight, we celebrate 30 years of love, family, and commitment. Everyone clapped and cheered. He looked so proud as he kept speaking. To make this day even more special, I have a surprise, a family trip to Florida. 1 full week at a fancy resort. The room exploded with applause. My mom looked thrilled. My brother and his wife clapped excitedly. My cousins smiled at each other. I felt a little spark of hope. A vacation? After everything I've done for them, were they finally doing something nice for me too? I looked at my mom, but she wouldn't meet my eyes. Then my dad said, "Of course, Agnes will stay behind to take care of the house. Someone responsible needs to keep an eye on things while we're gone." People laughed, but it hit me hard. "Wait, what?" I said softly, but everyone heard it. My dad grinned. "No mistake. You're staying. You always take care of things. You're the best at it." I looked around the room, hoping someone would speak up. My brother joked with his wife. "Looks like Agnes is finally getting a break from us." More laughter. I felt sick. I had done so much for them, paid for my brother's college, helped with my parents' medical bills, made sure they always had what they needed. And now they were going on a trip, partly paid for with my money, and leaving me behind like I didn't matter. "I've done everything for this family," I whispered, feeling anger rise inside me. My mom patted my shoulder like it was no big deal. "You'll be fine. Someone has to work while we relax. That's what you're good at." I looked at her, shocked and hurt. I had always put them first, hoping one day they'd be grateful. But that day was never going to come. Something inside me broke. I set my glass down carefully and grabbed my coat. Nobody noticed I was leaving. They were too busy cheering about their trip. Just as I reached the door, my dad called out, "Agnes, where are you going?" "The party's not over." I turned to him and said calmly, "No mistake." My stomach turned. Instead of staying there, I walked through the streets, the city lights blurring through the tears I couldn't stop. At first, I wasn't sure where I was going, but soon, I started to make a plan. A plan that would change everything. By the time I got back to my apartment, my hands were shaking, but not because I was scared. It was excitement. A wild thrill from finally making a decision, just for me. I grabbed my suitcase and started packing. Only the essentials. My passport, my bank cards, the emergency cash I had saved up. I paused, staring at my phone. Would they even notice I was gone? Would they call? No. They'd be too busy enjoying their vacation, paid for by my money. I quickly opened my laptop and booked the next train out of the city. My destination, a coastal town far enough away where I could disappear for a while. My heart raced as I booked the ticket. There was no turning back. At the train station, the sky was just starting to turn pink and gold with the first light of dawn. A few early travelers moved around, but I felt completely alone. For the first time in years, the weight of responsibility started to lift, and something new, uncertainty, took its place. "Ticket." The conductor's voice pulled me from my thoughts. I handed him my ticket, holding on tight to my suitcase. "First time leaving the city?" he asked, looking at me. I nodded. "Yeah. First time in a long time." He smiled knowingly and punched my ticket. "Sometimes, a fresh start is the best thing you can do for yourself." I smiled back, stepping onto the train. The moment the door closed behind me, I realized this was the first decision I'd made entirely for myself. No one else's plans, no one else's expectations. Just me. The train started moving, and as the city got farther away, so did the life I had known. The loft above the photography studio was small, just big enough for a bed, a desk, and an old wardrobe. But to me, it was perfect. For the first time, I had a space that was mine, and the quiet was mine to enjoy. The next morning, I started my new job at Charlene's design agency. She was as strange as she was talented. "I don't hire assistants," she had told me during the interview, throwing blueprints on the desk. "I hire people who make my life easier. Think you can do that?" I said yes. Days went by in a blur of sketches, redesigns, and late-night coffee breaks. Then, one evening, while scrolling through social media, I saw a photo of my family celebrating their vacation in a fancy villa. My stomach twisted. They had used my money for this, laughed at me, and now they were enjoying themselves. Something inside me snapped. I picked up the phone and called the resort. My voice was calm and smooth. "Hello, this is Agnes Harlow from the corporate booking team. There's been a system error with the reservation for the Harlow party. We need to change their room." "Of course, Miss Harlow. What kind of adjustment would you like?" "A standard economy room. No view. No upgrades. Non-refundable." When I hung up, a smile crept across my face. It wasn't much, but for once, I wasn't the one left behind. My phone rang early the next morning. My dad's number flashed on the screen. I ignored it. It rang again, and again. Finally, I picked up, pretending I didn't care. "Hello, Agnes." His voice was full of anger. "Why did you cancel our villa?" I smirked. "Oh, hey, Dad. Long time no talk. What's going on?" "I have no idea what you're talking about." "Don't mess with me," he yelled. "Our villa was canceled. They stuck us in some tiny room. Fix it." I pretended to care. "Wow, that sounds tough. But why are you calling me? I'm not part of the family anymore, remember?" I leaned back in my bed, playing with the sheets. "Maybe they realized you're not as important as you think." I heard my mom's voice, frantic and high-pitched. "Agnes, you're being selfish. We deserve better than this. Just call them and—" "I don't take orders anymore, Mom." I cut her off, my voice calm. "Enjoy your vacation." Then I hung up. The phone kept buzzing again and again. I turned off the sound. That heavy feeling in my chest was gone. For once, they were the ones left behind. Weeks went by. My phone stayed quiet. My family gave up. The calls stopped. I thought I'd feel proud. But all I felt was nothing. Not sadness. Just done. Meanwhile, my life moved forward. With Charlene's help, I started designing layouts that caught the attention of wealthy clients. One evening, after a long day, Charlene handed me a card. "The mayor's wife saw your work at the gala," she said. "She wants you to redesign their house." I stared at her. "You're serious?" Charlene smiled. "Dead serious. You've made it." For the first time ever, I felt important, not because I gave things up, but because I was creating something of my own. Later, Charlene looked at my newest design. "This is amazing. You've got real talent," she said. "I don't want you as an assistant anymore. I want you as my partner." I couldn't breathe for a moment. Me? A partner? For years, I had been invisible. Just the person who helped everyone else. Now, someone finally saw me. That night, I sat on my tiny balcony, looking out at the glowing city. I was alone, but I didn't feel lonely. I felt free. Then a message came in. It was from Verity, my youngest sister. "AGS, please. Mom and Dad are falling apart. The trip was a mess. Dad lost money in some bad deal. Mom's blaming everyone. They say it's your fault. I don't believe that. I miss you. Please talk to me." I stared at the message. I didn't feel hurt. Or angry. Just clear. A week later, as I left my office, I saw someone standing near the entrance. It was Verity. She looked tired and pale, like life had knocked her down. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. "Agnes." I froze. I wanted to walk away. I wanted to stay mad. But instead, I asked softly, "Why are you here?" Tears filled her eyes. "Because I needed to see you. Because you were right. They never treated you the way you deserved." Her words hit hard. She took a shaky breath. I know I don't deserve your time, but I had to say it. I'm sorry. I didn't say anything for a while. Then, I turned, unlocked my door, and motioned for her to come in. I wasn't ready to forgive. Maybe I never would. But something had changed. As I closed the door behind us, I made a quiet promise to myself. I was free. And them? They would never escape the mess they made. My revenge was complete. Friends, what do you think of this story? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Want more stories like this? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video. See you tomorrow.